Hi, my name is Chen Zhuxie. Today I'm here to present my presentation for the final project of business law. My project is about EduConnection Taiwan, which is a nonprofit organization. Here's the overview for the presentation. First, I would like to talk about the mission of the organization, follow up with the list of legal issues, and then that's the focus of the project, conclude by the review of the legal issues. First of all is the mission statement. The mission of EduConnection Taiwan, which I will refer to as ECT, is to foster education for kids in rural areas in Taiwan by launching a website with free online education content for the elementary schoolers in Taiwan. And here are the motivations. Due to the time limits, I will not be explaining my motivation, but these will be explained in my PowerPoint detailing. I would like to also refer to an inspiration that leads to my project. It's a nonprofit organization actually existed in Taiwan. It's called Teach for Taiwan, TFT. They are dedicated to training high quality teachers committed to serving in education sectors of rural areas. However, they face constraints of time and space, hence my nonprofit organization would like to break these limitations by providing content online so that we will not be constrained by the time and space and the resources. So here are the list of legal issues I would like to talk about. First of all is the torts and privacy. Torts and privacy are legal consideration related to civil wrongs and privacy concern of organizations. For torts, as an organization, we have to prevent any individual injuries from their day-to-day activity in our organization. And also we have to be careful so that there will not be negligence happening in our environment. On top, as for privacy issues, as we are providing online content through the internet, we have to make sure that we are dedicating our time and effort to data protection, confidentiality, and online privacy for all of our users. Moving on to risk management, but for risk management, it is really important for us to identify potential risks in the early preparation stage. So here are the potential risks that I identified in advance. First is the public relationship or organization reputation issues. Second is crisis on organization operation. Follow up with the financial crisis in cash flow, financial reporting, budgeting, granting, or fundraising. Fourth is the governmental regulation compliance, which means we have to keep ourselves updated to the government laws. To deal with these potential risks, we have to develop risk management strategies. First of all, we would like to develop a public relationship management department, specifically organizing and managing our public relationships and also the organization reputation. Follow up with a crisis management standard operation process, which will help us to solve any potential crisis from at the start of its happening. Moving on is to develop sound financial practices following the generally accepted accounting principles. Fourth is that we have to develop governance structure and oversight mechanisms to make sure that we are continuously monitoring and regularly evaluating our operation and our day-to-day practices. Moving on to accessibility. According to Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, it prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities. So, complying to the law, complying to ADA, we have to make sure that we are providing accessible services in public accommodation, digital accessibility, employment, and transportation to all individuals when they are participating in the organization's activities and when they are utilizing our services. Moving on to grants and fundings. There are three major parts I would like to talk about for grants and funding. First of all is the Federal Funding Accountability and Transparency Act, which is FFATA. It requires entity or organizations to report their how they utilize the federal grants and also the federal contract to the public through their reporting system, which is the Federal Funding Accountability and Transparency Act sub-awarded reporting system. And on top of that, we also have to comply with the Internal Revenue Service IRS regulations to maintain our tax exempt status, which is something that the Internal Revenue Code grants. And for IRS, it actually regulates activities regarding to fundraising, financial reporting, and the use of our funds. Last but not least are the state laws and regulations. State laws and regulation report regarding reporting requirements, restriction on fundraising activity, and regulations governing grants agreement may vary by states. So as we are starting a nonprofit organization, and when we are start reporting our financial activities, we have to make sure that we are looking through all these different acts and regulations. Moving on to Contract and Uniform Commercial Code. First is the contract law. Contract law regulates the key elements, process, enforcement, and other aspects of contract. And it's also serves as an agreement between two parties who have agreed to carry out certain obligation to each other. Contract is something that is really common in organization operation. So I would like to talk more about it in my project focus. Moving on to the Uniform Commercial Code, UCC. UCC governs certain aspects of commercial transactions, such as sales of goods, lease, secure transaction, negotiable instrument, and other commercial activities. As we are growing our business, eventually we may engage in activities like selling goods or any potential business activities. That's when we have to look into UCC to make sure that we are complying our business activities to the law. Moving on to agency and employment. First of all, it's the employment law. There are various employment laws that regulate organizations' employment process. First is the anti-discrimination law, such as Civil Rights Act and age discrimination and the Disability Act that we mentioned earlier. All of them prohibit organizations from excluding individuals due to discrimination based discrimination of any different categories. And also on top of the discrimination, we have the wage and hour laws that regulate the minimum wage and the maximum working hours for employees. And we have to make sure that we are meeting the requirements. Last but not least is the law that governs workplace safety and health. We have to ensure that our organization is providing a friendly, healthy, and safe workplace for all of our employees. Moving on to agency relationships, employees and agents may act on the behavior of the organization within the scope of their authority, creating legal obligation and liability for the organization. And then we have the type of organization. For this case, it's nonprofit organization. It's a type of legal organization that operates for the purpose other than generating profit for its owners or shareholders. And for nonprofit organization, we pursue goals related to social, charitable, educational, religious, scientific, and other public benefit purpose. For EduConnection Taiwan, we have our educational goal, which is to promote equal quality education to students across Taiwan. And there are also laws that regulate nonprofit organization, which is the State Nonprofit Corporation Law. Moving on to government regulation. Government regulation are imposed by federal, state, and local government and agency to ensure transparency, accountability, and compliance with legal standards. So the first one I would like to talk about is the annual reporting. As mentioned earlier, sound financial services, sound financial system is really important for the operation of our organization. Hence, we have to file our annual information return, which is the 4990 with the IRS mentioned earlier as well. On top of that, there are state laws that govern corporation governance, fundraising, employment practices, contracts, and other activities as well. Moving on to property, there are three key elements we have to keep in mind while we are starting a nonprofit organization. First of all, is the ownership and legal titles. We have to make sure that we have clear ownership and legal title to our real and personal properties. On top of that is the leasing and rental agreement. We have to make sure that when we are forming an agreement of lease or rental real or personal property for the operation, the agreement specify the terms and condition of use, and also specify payment obligation and other rights and responsibility of the parties involved. Last but not least is the real asset transaction, which refer to buy, sell, or transfer real property as part of the strategic planning or operation need. And there are various laws that regulate this part. We have to make sure that we are looking through these listed down here. Moving on to the dispute resolution, there are two types of dispute, which is the civil dispute and the criminal dispute. To resolve civil dispute, we have to make sure that we are engaging in negotiation, mediation, attribution, or litigation. As for criminal dispute, it's more complicated. It is regulated by criminal law, which define and penalize criminal offenses such as theft, fraud, bribery, corruption, money laundering, and tax evasion. And there is a specific law that regulate among organization, which is the whistleblower protection that is referring to the obligation to report suspected criminal activities in organization. Moving on to the sustainability and environment, there are two types of sustainability that we have to make sure that we're looking into is the environmental sustainability and the economic sustainability. For the environment, there are various environmental regulation that aims to protect natural resources, prevent pollution, and promote environment sustainability, and they are listed up here. Moving on to the corporate social responsibility (CRS) reporting, nonprofit organizations are expected to demonstrate sustainability and our social responsibility through transparent reporting. And these voluntary CRS, corporate social responsibility reporting framework, such as the Global Reporting Initiative, provides guidelines for organizations to disclose our sustainability performance and impacts. On top of that, we have financial sustainability, such as annual evaluation of our financial status, and also we have to make sure that we are adopting adequate financial management practices. Last but not least, we have to be responsible and accountable for the grants and money received from outsiders, including governments, sponsor companies, and donations. Last but not least, back to environmental sustainability again. As ECT in EduConnection Taiwan is providing content via internet, we are making sure that we are trying to lower the carbon footprints that we are emitting through our day-to-day operation. And also, we will adopt annual evaluation of sustainable operation, and we will also promote taking public transportation for organizational affairs, including and we will also include educational content on our platform aiming to promote the environmental sustainability. Lastly, the last legal issue we would like to talk about is the COVID-19 practice. First, we have to make sure that we are adopting public health measure, and also we are providing safety in our business operation and workplace. Last but not least, we will comply to any emergency any public health emergency that happens and when government are launching laws and regulations at the moment. Okay, with that being said, we have covered mostly every part of the legal issues, and we would like to move on to the project focus. So the project focus on this is the project focus is on the production of English teaching content for our website specifically by collaborating with other Taiwanese and international corporation or organizations. And in the aspect of legal issues, I will be aiming for the review over contract law and warrants. First of all, we would like to cooperate with a company named Amazing Talker. It's a leading online tutoring platform in Taiwan with tutors from worldwide. And with tutor resources on the platform, we could offer students with various access to teachers from all across the world and all types of information. And our cooperation would include invitation to popular tutors from the platform to create educational videos. And the two teachers we would like to invite is two of their most popular tutor, Dr. Echo and Sandra. They are also hosting talk show on Amazing Talkers YouTube channel. And with the cooperation, Amazing Talker could promote their platform and also their YouTube channel through our website, and we could also promote our education content by this collaboration as well. Moving on to the cultural content, I believe learning a language is never only about linguistic skills, but we also have to learn about the culture behind the language. Hence, I would like to provide content specifically targeting the comedy culture in America. So I would like to cooperate with a Taiwanese YouTuber named Brian. He is a experiential comedian in Taiwan who has also lived in America during his high school and university years. And we would like to collaborate to create content regarding comedy culture. And this is his brief introduction of him. He has been actively participating in the comedy field since 2016, which has been a pretty long time. Last but not least, we also have to evaluate the students' performances through testing system. Hence, we would like to incorporate the Duolingo system into our website. We would like to choose Duolingo is because it's affordable and there's easy access to this online website. And through the Duolingo system, we would show clearly to the student how they are progressing in this English learning journey. And this would also incentivize themselves to engage and participate more in this learning process. So it's a win-win situation. Moving on to the legal issues review. So I would like to talk about contract in this project, in this legal issue specifically. So first of all, what is contract law? I know we've been mentioning it earlier, but here I am providing a more detailed introduction. So contract law is a branch of legal theory and practice governing agreements between parties. It encompasses the rule and principles that determine the validity, interpretation, and enforcement of contracts, as well as legally binding agreements between two or more parties that create mutual obligation to perform certain acts or refrain from certain actions. Contract law applies to various transactions and relationships in both personal and business contexts. So here are some key aspects of contract law. First is the formation, which is the process by which parties entered into a contract. Second is the term, which define the rights, duties, obligation of the parties. Third, following up with the interpretation, which determine the meaning and the scope of contractual provision. Last but not least is the performance, which refers to contracts that impose obligations on the parties to perform certain acts or provide certain goods or services according to the terms of the agreement. And here are the elements of contract law. According to chapter 10 of the textbook, there are various elements. So I would like to briefly go through them. First is the offer. All contracts begin with one person or company posts a deal, which is an offer. Following up is the acceptance, which means once a party offers offer and propose, there would be another party accepting the offer. Thirdly is consideration, which means there must be bargaining in between the acceptance and offers, and so that we are making sure that the contract will not be a one-way street and both sides will receive some measurable benefits. The fourth is the legality. The contract must be a lawful purpose. Fifth is capacity. The party must be adults of sound mind. And the sixth one is consent. Certain kinds of trickery or force can prevent the formation of a contract. Seven is writing. While some verbal agreement may be valid, some other types of contract must be in written to be enforceable. So first of all is offer. We are off as in the case of EduConnection, we are a nonprofit organization that offer free online education content for elementary schoolers. For acceptance, in return for our to our offer, the website visitor, which is our user, they are the other party of the contract. They will have to watch advertisement that is displayed on the website. And to accept, they would have to click a box that would be shown on the website to express their willingness to accept this contract. Moving on is the consideration. The ECT party will profit from the advertisement displays, which is the benefit for our party. As for our users party, they will receive educational content in return to the time they spend watching and going through the advertisement that is displayed. So this contract is beneficial to both parties involved. Moving on to the legality, we are providing quality educational content which is legal and asking the audience to watch advertisement to profit as return is also legal. Moving on to capacity, under contract law, minors without capacity can still sign contract, but the contracts are also avoidable. However, meanwhile, there are some exceptions to the right to opt out from the contract. When the contract concerns food, clothing, shelter, transportation, education, minors cannot easily opt out of the contract as these items are considered essential for minors. Hence, as the service of ECT is providing is related to education, minors can sign and accept the contract without being able to easily opt out of it. Moving on to consent, there will be an agreement checks box before visitors enter the website, listing out the contract details and the visitor's obligation and rights. And these details will be displayed in a clear organization, so without any intent to trick, force, or lie to our website visitors. Last but not least is for the writing. The situation in which an agreement must be in writing usually include real asset transfer, sales of goods valued at over $500, and contract that require more than a year to perform. Since we are providing free online education content, so that doesn't fall under any of the category mentioned. However, the checkbox and the record of our visitor checking the checkbox will be preserved. Moving on to type of contract, there are various type of contract, and as for the contract that we are signing with our visitors, it's actually the service contract, which includes employment agreement, professional services, and anything involving non-tangible products. As we are providing a non-tangible product, this will be a service contract. So, last but not least, I would like to end up this presentation by referring to a sentence from Charles B. Randall. A quality education grants us the ability to fight the war on ignorance and poverty. I would like to I would like to restate that I believe no matter where you are born, where you are in, any child, any kids are should deserve to have equal access to quality education resources, no matter where they are born or what age they are or which area they're living in. So this is also the spirit and goal for our organization. And I believe through these practices, we are able to start a organization that will achieve this goal successfully. And these are all the references where you can access with my presentation. With that all being said, this is my presentation. Hope you like it. Thank you.